Hi, it's V. Happy Thanksgiving. This year I'm really thankful for all of you for watching and supporting me. It really feels great that people are out there who are enjoying and maybe benefiting from the content I'm putting out. I'm also really thankful for all the growth that's happened in my life since a year ago when I was diagnosed with bipolar. I've been able to put so many habits into my life that are supporting my mental health, and I found so many resources where I can talk with people who have bipolar and other mental disorders and support one another. I am also really thankful to live in Massachusetts, a state which really supports LGBT people and has been aggressive in putting laws and policies in place to acknowledge our existence in diversity. We just became the 16th state to put a third option on our driver's licenses. We can now have an X, and it's really easy to change. You just have to fill out a normal driver's license application and say that you have a change of information and check off the X. So I will be doing that soon. I'm a little concerned about possible discrimination when I'm pulled over at a traffic stop or whatever, or going into a bar, but I think it's more important that my ID matches my gender identity than to avoid that in some circumstances. So we've joined 15 other states. The states that have a third option on their IDs are Maryland, New Hampshire, Hawaii, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Indiana, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Nevada, Maine, Minnesota, Oregon, Utah, and Vermont. That's according to New Now Next, and the first state to do so was Oregon in 2017. So that's super exciting. Now to get to the meat of the video, I promised an update on my hormone journey, and this is going to be a different update than many of you are expecting, a different update than what I expected to be putting out now. I stopped taking estradiol a month and a half in. I made a 1-month update video, which I didn't post. A month, I could feel that my breasts were becoming more sensitive. They were growing a little bit. Actually, that night I made that video, I first felt these beads forming behind my nipples, and my friend said growing up, her and her friends called those mosquito bites, and they started at about a quarter of an inch in kind of diameter and grew to about a half an inch very quickly in a week or two, and the growth started accelerating significantly in a few days. I went from not really being able to see a change in their shape to having a kind of shadow cast underneath some of the new fat and my nipples sticking out in a different way. And I had been really excited about how it felt and how shirts were starting to kind of fall a little differently. But looking at myself in the mirror, I felt pretty uncomfortable, and I've always had some body issues. I've never really felt proud or super comfortable with how I've looked, and this felt like a move in the opposite direction that I kind of expected. And I wasn't fully sure if this was something that was temporary, and as my breast grew more, this was going to go away, or if this was something that was going to get worse. And breast growth is pretty much the only thing that doesn't reverse, and so I decided to stop taking the hormones, at least for now, and to process that with my therapist before I consider going back on the hormones. And a problem is that my current therapist doesn't have any background with trans and non-binary people, and as such, I will probably try to find a new therapist and talk that through with them before I make a decision, and that could take quite a while because it's very difficult to find therapists that treat people with bipolar and trans issues, either of those separately, but together it's pretty darn difficult to find someone who feels confident in both of those areas. So I will continue to update you all. This was a really hard decision to make. I felt really shitty about it, and I was really depressed for a week, 2 weeks around making that decision. And after making that decision, I called friends and told them that I felt like a fake, and I felt like I was letting trans and non-binary community down. I don't want my experience to detract from all the progress we've made, that it's so much easier now to be able to start to transition, and there's this predominant narrative that basically all trans people have this very black and white experience, that they were born in basically the wrong body, and they've known from a very, very early age that they wanted their body to match the gender identity that they've always known that they've had. And that is not my experience. I thought that having a more non-binary body, a more female body, was going to make me feel more comfortable in my skin, more of myself. And in my situation, it didn't turn out to perhaps be that way. And I don't want my journey and me deciding to stop to cause other people to not be able to start transitioning as quickly. I don't want people to latch on to stories like mine and use them as a weapon to fight against the progress that has been made. But at the same time, I want to tell my story because I want to make people aware, and people who've had a similar experience know that they're not alone, and know that it's not the end of the world if you do try transitioning and decide not to. The permanent changes for me are very minor. I think that I do have a little breast tissue that is not going to return to how it was. I have a little extra fat, and my nipples did grow a little bit, and some of that growth is not going to go completely back, but it is very minor. And in another video, I will show kind of how things wound up being. But yeah, this is what happened for me, and I'm not exactly proud of it, but it's the truth, and I will focus on other elements of my transition and to being more true to who I identify as and what gender I identify as. I, for example, am excited about my wardrobe changing and being more confident in expressing my gender identity in other ways that don't have to do with my physical body changing. How this turned out is a bit of a disappointment to me. I try to tell myself that who I am is legitimate, and I am worthy of love and respect, no matter how awkward or somewhat problematic pieces of myself are compared to what I would like them to be and what other people would like them to be. I can't really control how I felt, and I didn't know how I was going to feel. I have to just tell myself that I did my best, I did what I thought was right, and it's okay. And that's what I would tell to anyone else. So it's really not fair for me to hold myself to this standard of everything working towards a narrative that is ideal all the time. Things are messier than that. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you again for all your support and for watching these videos. I always like seeing likes and comments, and subscriptions make me really, really happy. So if you want, please do so, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Goodbye, my beautiful NBs, my strong bipolar friends too, and all of you allies, brazen and free. So long and blessed be.